Our guest today is one of the most important leaders in higher education in Illinois and in the nation. He is the 16th president of the University of Illinois. His stature comes from his leadership of a set of public universities that are among the best in America. Our guest today is a lifelong Midwesterner, born in Detroit and raised in Kalamazoo, Michigan. He earned his bachelor's degree from Georgetown, his MBA from Harvard, and a PhD in business administration from the University of Michigan, where he spent nearly 30 years in the faculty and administration, including a decade as dean of the College of Business. In 2002, he served as interim president of the University of Michigan. Our guest today was named president of the University of Illinois last November, and he hit the ground running in his new job last February. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the City Club of Chicago, the president of the U of I, Joe White. Joe?
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Jay, for the nice introduction. Two prefatory comments. First, as you see, I brought 4 members of the Board of Trustees, and they will handle all questions concerning the NCAA and the progress of our football team. I will handle everything else. Second, I know many of you have children at the University of Illinois. I checked into them shortly before coming here today. I'm happy to report that each and every one is studying hard, having no fun whatsoever. Not a drop of alcohol has touched his or her lips, and they're using your tuition dollars very well. You can rest easy. It's a thrill and an honor and a privilege to lead the University of Illinois, and also, because it comes with the job, to join the leadership group of one of the nation's great states, Illinois, and one of the world's great cities, Chicago. I speak to you today as the leader, the chief executive, and what I think of as the chief steward of one of the state's most prized and valuable assets, the University of Illinois. I've been on the job for 9 months. What have I found? And what are our plans? Of course, I've found a great university, a classic campus in Urbana, an edgy and exciting institution in Chicago, a young and aspiring university in Springfield. 70,000 students, over 500,000 alumni, $3.5 billion a year in annual spending, Nobel and Pulitzer Prize winners, America's largest medical school, an engine of economic development, great academics, great athletics. I'll never forget that Arizona game. Healthcare, arts, and culture. What I've found is a treasure. The University of Illinois has an overarching mission, and that is to transform lives and to serve society by educating, creating knowledge, and putting knowledge to work on a large scale and with excellence. I think the University of Illinois has never been more important to our state and to the city of Chicago in its 140 years than it is today, and than it will be in the next several decades. Why? Simply because educated people and knowledge, much more than natural resources and location, are the new true wealth of nations. Educated people and knowledge on a large scale and with excellence, that is our game at the University of Illinois. Remember what we do. With about $1 billion in direct and indirect support from the state of Illinois, about a quarter of our total spend, we give tens of thousands of students a $25,000 a year education for tuition of $7,000 to $8,000. The students are mostly from Illinois, and they mostly stay in Illinois. The faculty we assemble to educate these students bring in over $600 million a year in funded research from outside the state, and it fuels innovation, and it creates new products and new companies. For 140 years, the fortunes of the state of Illinois and the University of Illinois have been completely intertwined and causally connected. As the state grew and prospered, so did the university, and vice versa. It has been a great, mutual, beneficial relationship. But today, I have to report to you that the University of Illinois is at a tipping point. Here's one possible future. A slow slide, almost imperceptible, from greatness to being merely good, possibly on the way to mediocrity. This would be a result of continued unaddressed erosion of state support, and it would be, let me be clear, unacceptable. The other future for the University of Illinois, the one for which we must strive, the one we must create, is what I simply call brilliant. Creating a brilliant future for the University of Illinois, which I assert is absolutely vital for a prosperous future for the state of Illinois, requires some hard choices. Here's the reason. In the world of great public research university, there are three things that don't go together, no matter how much we wish they did. They are continued excellence, no incremental operating resources or capital from the state, and modest tuition increases. As Bill Clinton used to say, that dog won't hunt. I wish we could private fundraise and cost reduce our way into continued excellence at the University of Illinois, and each has a role to play for sure. But they're not enough, even under the most rosy scenario. Across the nation today, governors, state legislatures, leaders, university trustees, and presidents are making hard decisions about this triad of quality, state support, and tuition. I noted over the summer that the regents of the University of Michigan and the trustees of Michigan State University approved 12% and 13% tuition increases, respectively, and I'm sure reluctantly. Brave decisions to protect quality in the face of declining state support. Meanwhile, in some other states, de facto decisions to permit the erosion of great public universities are being made every day, but of course they're never labeled as such. So what will it be for Illinois and the University of Illinois? We've weathered serious cuts in operating support and little new capital from the state since 2000, with a combination of cost-cutting and reallocation, tuition increases, and extraordinary faculty success in attracting funded research. Going forward, I think our most serious challenge is to forge a new compact to support the University of Illinois for decades ahead. 5 parties will need to do their parts to ensure continued excellence of a vital state asset. The state still has a role to play in funding the university as an investment in the state's future to keep tuition affordable, and, by the way, to ensure that we will have the health care providers for the state of Illinois tomorrow on whom we're counting, because we educate most of them. Tuition payers and their families, and here it gets very tough, carry an increasing share of the burden. I want to be very direct. If maintaining the excellence of the University of Illinois means that several years from now, students pay $12,500 a year for a $30,000 education instead of $7,000 or $8,000 a year for a $25,000 a year education, while we ensure access through strong financial aid, then I say so be it. It will continue to be a great value and the very best investment that these students and their families have ever made. Third, faculty members do their part through teaching productivity and success in winning grants and contracts, and simply through the excellence of their work. Fourth, our alumni and friends do their parts even more through generous giving. And I can tell you, I'm an experienced fundraiser, there's a lot of upside potential there. And finally, we, the leadership of the university, the trustees, the management at every level, do our part through continued cost reduction and reallocation of resources and ensuring excellence in what in business is called quality, cost, and delivery. And we do it year in and year out. So that's the compact. If these 5 parties all do their parts, then the burden on any one won't be excessive. It's what in real estate is called syndicating the project. Too much risk, too much burden for any one party, but together 5 can pull it off. And most important, if we do it, and we have to do it, then Illinois will continue to be served by one of the world's great public research universities. Question: what are the stakes? What are the stakes in forging this compact? I think they're very big. I think that a brilliant future for the University of Illinois will contribute materially to a prosperous future for the state of Illinois. I literally don't think that we can have the latter without the former. I don't believe we can have a prosperous state of Illinois without a brilliant future for the University of Illinois. Let me finish in this way. I've talked a lot about resources, but I want to end on a different subject, which is ideas, big ideas. Daniel Burnham, Chicago's great planner, the mastermind of the Chicago Exposition of 1893, reminded all to make no little plans. He was right. As a new citizen and as a leader in Illinois, I want to tell you that I sense today the state needs some bigger ideas for a prosperous future than I hear or read about. And you can expect the University of Illinois to play a part and even to take the lead. Here's just one example. 4 great growth industries of this century are likely to be healthcare, life sciences, information, and energy. Illinois is strong in healthcare. We're growing in life sciences. We have a foot in the information industry. And by the way, the University of Illinois is essential to all 3 of those industries in Illinois. But what about energy? I think that we in the state of Illinois should aspire to be a global spire of excellence in sustainable energy production and consumption. This will be the century of energy transformation. Our energy world will look so different in 2100 than it did in 2000. And think about it. Illinois has every form of energy on which the world will depend. Nuclear power, coal, biomass, wind, as well as some oil and gas. Equally important, maybe more important in today's world, we have among the University of Illinois, the University of Chicago, Northwestern University, Argonne National Laboratory and Fermilab, and our energy companies, the expertise to build a global spire of excellence. What we need is intention. And I say, let's do it. Thanks for your attention. I look forward to working with you to create a brilliant future for the University of Illinois and accordingly a prosperous future for the state of Illinois. Now to your comments and questions. Paul?
If you have a question, get up to the microphone. For those of you non-academics, that may have been the shortest speech I've ever heard any president ever give. Moving in the right direction, Mr. President.
Thank you.
President White, I'm Michael Krause. I'm the technology columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times, and I agree with your stance on energy. But in this fiscally constrained budget environment, what will the U of I do to maximize the economic value of your R&D? How will the university that invented the internet browser reap value in the future?
In the months I've been at the University of Illinois, I sense that we look back with some regret at the ones that got away. And we've learned lessons from them. And my predecessor, with the support of the Board of Trustees, has created, I think, a very strong economic development, technology transfer, intellectual property capacity. Our research parks in both Chicago, adjacent to UIC, and in Urbana are home to, I'd call them fledgling companies. I think that we've embraced the reality that around the country, the states that are doing best in economic development are those which have capitalized on the knowledge pouring out of the University of California system, Stanford, MIT, Harvard, et cetera, and that Illinois has now joined that group, and I think we're going to see very good results in the year ahead. One final point. Our Board of Trustees has taken this matter so seriously that they've added a fourth mission to the University of Illinois: teaching, research, service, and economic development. Those are the things we're doing.
Well, then, if I could just follow up, what's your role going to be in Bio 2006 that's coming here in April?
I'm on the steering committee. I attended my first meeting. I'm going. It's going to be terrific. 18,000 people coming to, and we're going to showcase Chicago and the University of Illinois. Could I have one quick thing?
Sure.
What I just gave you, I think, is an honest answer. It's kind of a stock answer, but there's an underlying thing I need to mention to you.
Please.
Finally, what all this is about is our ability to attract and retain and develop the talented people in the world who can choose to live and go to school and work anywhere. And so, for me, the big agenda, and it's one of the reasons I'm really very excited about Illinois' prospects and Chicago's prospects and the university's prospects, is we have to compete successfully on every dimension: education, quality of life, healthcare, economic opportunity, and so on. I spent 30 years in the state of Michigan. Our prospects are much better here in Illinois going forward.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other questions? We know no one connected with the University of Illinois system will ask a question. We understand. That was a given. Step right up to the microphone, please, Toby. We can't let them off that easy.
No, we can't.
There you go.
But I let you guys off pretty easy.
This is a great woman to
I
report.
don't say
She is. I want you to know that. No, she's not.
I'm actually alumni. Whoa. Usually I don't have to talk that loud. President White.
Let's state your name.
Okay. I'm the first elected Hispanic official outside of Cook County ever in the history of Illinois who is an alumni.
And your
from
name
UIC.
is? And your
Linda
name?
Chapa-Lavia.
Right, Linda.
Kane County.
You missed me, but don't worry about it. I like being anonymous down back there with the media.
Never happen again.
Exactly. President White, and we have had some discussion, but what have you done to forge this alliance or compact at the state level with DNR, with DECIO, and what have you, on what the state wants? Because there are big plans for us.
Yeah.
And I think we should be the leader on this energy movement. And out of every great society, it's taken a crisis for us to become genius.
Yeah, that's right.
And had a woman been involved 20 years ago,
Oh,
we
Linda.
wouldn't, thank you very much, we wouldn't be where we're at and so reliant on other countries for our oil. And I'm an Army officer, went through your ROTC program at UIC.
Right.
And on top of things, I believe in our American soldiers, however, I don't believe in this war. So to become self-efficient, and Illinois definitely has to take a lead in that. And this morning I was on a talk show radio, and I did your speech as far as energy, the biofuel. I have
Good.
an ethanol car out there and what have you.
Good.
But what has the university done to reach out to the General Assembly? We're waiting there to help you in a partnership to
Yeah.
take this step.
I mean, Linda, if I can only say two words, not enough. On that front, we have not done enough. But can I say a couple other things? Or do you have a question?
No, because I'm going to shoot back at you. Because I'm going to shoot back at you, President. And I know we haven't done enough. And that was my reason. I'm standing up here along with my colleagues.
Right.
Because we allow people to point the fingers at us.
Right.
But we forget that it's we the people that elect us. You are
That's
the
right.
reason that we're down there.
Right.
So if there's no communication, we're
Right.
not working as a state.
Yep, I agree.
So we can't really, let's not point fingers. Let's join
Yeah.
hands and
No
and-
finger
and
pointing.
make
That's
a
what the
solution,
compact.
too.
The compact is about not finger pointing. The compact is about we,
Okay,
us,
you can go
all of
now.
us. Now, could I first say, Linda is an amazing woman. We have gotten acquainted, and I want to say to my colleagues at UIC, we are missing the boat in not having this woman more involved in our university as an alumnus,
Well,
because
I'm
she's a
honored.
great role model.
I'm honored,
Okay,
but-
that's number one. Number two, I want to say that. Let's talk specifically about the University of Illinois, the legislature, and the people of Illinois. You're right. You are elected by the people. I think that right now, being in the higher education bucket, as I call it, in Springfield is a bad place to be. I would describe what's happened over the last 4 years with the state support of the University of Illinois as, on the one hand, understandable, given the state's budget, on the other hand, unwise, okay? Looking back. Now, what we have to do much better, and we will do much better, is make our case to the people of Illinois and to the representatives of Illinois, not just about give us money, give us money, give us money, we're a great university, help us, support us, don't let us erode. We must tie the performance and contribution of the University of Illinois, which is what I tried to do today, to our economic future, our education future, our healthcare future, our safety future and security future, our ability to compete in the world for the best talent, and ultimately to our ability to have our prospects for having a prosperous future in Illinois. One of the things that we've done is to create something we call the Illinois Bill of Health. Why? Because it's a reminder to people in Illinois that we educate a huge number of the healthcare providers, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, et cetera, on whom the people of Illinois depend. And they're not going to be there on a starvation diet from the state. So we're, frankly, trying to get out of the higher education bucket. It's an ugly bucket. We're trying to get into areas that the people of the state deeply care about and make our case persuasively to gain support.
Well, I'm very excited about your tenure with us. I'm very proud to have you there.
Thanks, Linda.
But maybe we can make a pact within the next 10 years. We will be self-sufficient on energy here in Illinois and be the leaders throughout the United States.
That's a big
But thank you.
conversation. Thank
But
you very
thank
much, Linda.
Hello, my name is Leighton Olson. I'm an attorney in Chicago, and I'm also a board member of Midwest Technology Access Group, which has strong links with UIC Managerial Studies.
Right.
I wanted to ask you a question about your leadership as head of a land-grant university nationwide and how that's going to bring money in perhaps to Illinois and perhaps in the technology and telecommunications arena, because there have been all these discussions about selling bandwidth and potentially putting it into a trust fund. That's one bucket.
Right.
The second is whether you might assist in drawing attention to the November 16 and 17 events hosted by University of Illinois Extension in Springfield for telecommunications and economic development and telehealth. And we'd be glad to send you a personal invitation, but since I'm on the planning committee, I would like your comments about
Consider it done.
using telecommunications.
Consider it done.
All
Perfect.
right. Thank you.
You've advertised, and I'm happy to go beyond that to help also. On your question about land-grant university and national involvement and so on, two things I want to say. One, I think the land-grant universities were one of the greatest social inventions in human history, certainly in American history. I think it was a brilliant, inspired idea. That's why I like to talk about, you know, the $25,000 a year education for $7,500. Create an educated citizenry, economic development, representation in every county in the state of Illinois. I think it's a fabulous vision that was fulfilled from 150 years ago. With regard personally to my involvement, I'm a big believer, and this is sort of maybe a narrow answer. I'm not involving myself in any national matters at the moment. I'll tell you why. My beat is the University of Illinois. My goal is to get the University of Illinois positioned to have the brilliant future we just talked about. If involvement nationally can contribute to that, I'll consider it. I'm interested. If it can't, I don't have time for it. The time may come, but it's not now.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you. Other things?
Well, seeing no other questions,
You got one guy coming up here.
trying to get you up. By the way, as he's walking up there, Linda, we'll make it up to you. The City Club is not without influence. The next remap, you'll like it.
Yes, sir.
My name is Hill Burgess. I'm an architect, and I'd actually like to follow up on Linda's question because without being adversarial, I thought you copped out.
Really?
And so I would like to say, in terms of future sustainability, Are you willing to place the University of Illinois where other universities on either coast are and say that all future buildings are going to be sustainable and, like our mayor has here in Chicago, at least have a silver LEED rating?
Yeah, absolutely. I met with a group earlier this week, a faculty and staff group passionate on this subject. I met with them. I listened to them. I said, I agree. We're going to do it because it's the right thing to do, and we intend to be a leader, not a laggard. Absolutely. Thank you.
No?
Thanks. You've been great.